So remember how I told you we were at Germany for the following week after Riverside? Well, nobody told me that the All-Star race was moved to the end of the season. So anyway, hello everyone. We're here in Vancouver, Canada for round 8 of the 2013C NASA RallyCross Challenge season here at the Bent Twig RallyCross Grand Prix. As it's not just Josh Mertz in the commentary box, it's also Dylan Livingood alongside, as he has returned for the first time since Croft. As we are here at Bent Twig for the 8th round of the championship, as this broadcast is brought to you by JavaShot Designs. If you need any painting done for any of your racing interests, you can contact Adam Sweet at his page at facebook.com/JavaShotDesigns or visit his site at javashotdesigns.com. Rally format for today's race. We have 12 cars. We're going to have 3 heats, 4 laps apiece. The top 2 in each heat advance to the final. Others move to the LCQ. You have to take the Joker once. LCQ is 3 laps. The top 2 advance, take Joker once. Final 8 laps, 8 cars, Joker twice. It's been the same format for every race where we don't have 4 heats. Anyway, Dylan Livingood, we have an interesting points battle getting set up, you could say, in the NASA Rallycross Challenge with 3 points rounds left.
Yeah, we do. It's going to take consistency here for all the situations to work out. Podiums are good, wins are better. It's going to be tight coming down to the end of the season. It'll be interesting to see how it works itself out.
As we have a graphic here, once we're able to get it up. There we go. The drivers' points. Mathematically, I believe it's about 9 drivers still eligible, but realistically, there's only 3 drivers left. It's Josh Mertz, Dylan Livingood, and Cody Erdman. The 2 Red Bull Subaru MRT drivers and the Revolution Racing driver. 2012B champion is tied in points with the triple defending champion, as they've come together, all 3 of them, in some form or another this season, and you really don't know what will happen with them.
They've even come together seasons past. It's hard to remember way back when these 2 drivers were actually tied in the last race. So, I mean, we saw it pan out towards Livingood's way the second half of the season, but this time around we're seeing a complete flip-flop, and we're seeing Livingood dominate early in the season, and now Mertz starting to catch back up and close that gap.
Because I believe, actually, it's remarkable that Mertz is able to claw the gap back, because he lost, I believe, 4 places at Charlotte because of the track cutting, if I remember correctly.
You can see what's keeping him alive here is all the bonus points that he's getting from these heat wins. Mertz has been unstoppable in the heats. He's had a couple of things get lucky for him, turn his way along, with just being good, and 7 bonus points throughout the season is definitely keeping him alive right now.
And you can't count out Erdman. Granted, sometimes he's all over the track, and sometimes he's completely on it, but he is 2 points behind these 2, and he is looking for his first NASA Rallycross Challenge championship, as it's on to the manufacturers, as Mitsubishi had 4 consecutive victories, but Subaru has clawed their way back up.
And if I remember right, Subaru hasn't even run the full season, so that shows you how dominant the Subaru equipment has been in the second half of the season.
As the Works Championship, along with the drivers and manufacturers, it looked as though first 4 rounds, Revolution's completely gone. MRT, well then Citroen, should have packed up their bags and went home. But because of the 2 consecutive 1-2 finishes, this championship has pretty much gone MRT's way.
Yeah, and it's really disappointing. We saw last week in Riverside just how quickly things can go bad, even if you're up at the top step of the points battle. I mean, we saw a complete flip-flop, and with Livingood and Letts finishing back in the pack, things changed quite quickly.
As the Semi-Works title really doesn't matter, as MRT Jr. has run pretty much uncontested this season. They clinched the title in Negus, but it's good to see, I believe it's Yao Paulo he has returned in the Delicia Race Team Subaru, so not for points, well, for the championship at least, but they'll still have some competition, as the Privateer Championship is kind of sliding Hagenstein's way because Caleb Paul, for the second consecutive week, has not arrived to the circuit.
Yeah, I think this one's going to fall in Tristan's hands for sure. Caleb Paul a little bit frustrated with some things that are happening, along with some personal stuff, going on vacation, life getting in the way. I think it's going to be Tristan's championship this season.
And the final championship that is all up for grabs. It's the Nations Cup. And if history will repeat itself, Germany should win, as it's been United States, Germany, United States, Germany, United States for the past 5 seasons. But maybe Living Good, if he can get on a tear these final 3 races, he can snatch the Nations Cup away.
This is the first time we've seen Canada this close, I think, ever.
As I believe Living Good's the only driver for Canada where the United States has about 5 competitive drivers, and the MRT drivers are both representing Germany. As you note that little note at the bottom of that graphic, maximum 21 points per race on offer if you win your heat and the race, so there's 63 left for the season, so anyone within 63 points is still mathematically eligible. So we're getting ready for heat number 1. Let's see as Dylan Livingood rounds the final corner here. As it's an interesting track here at Bent Twig, sliding the car, spinning the car already in car number 1. As it looks like he's reverted to his old Mitsubishi for this race at Bent Twig.
I think he's a little bit worried about the reliability of his equipment here, and just wanting to get back to something that he knows, something that's solid and proven itself.
As he will be on the outside pole, Keith Sherman in the new Mangled Lemons Racing Ford will be in the 3rd grid spot, Luke Fleming in 2nd, and on pole will be Dudley Smith in car number 50. Looks like he has gotten that really awkward paint scheme sorted out on his car. As he's passing the grid, that could be bad. As the 3 are gridded up, picks for this heat.
I'd have to be a little bit biased to our points leader. Well, I mean, tied for the points lead, Dylan Livingood here. But I mean, we see Luke Fleming. He's on a mission when he wants to be good, and you never know. You can never count out Sherm.
I believe Sherman was actually leading the race last season here at Bent Twig until he had an accident. As we're getting gridded up here for heat number 1 at Bent Twig. Perfect start, perfect camera here, and it's lights out, and away we go. And off the line, Livingood like usual with a great start side by side. Fleming and Sherman into turn number 1. Who will get 2nd spot? Sherman off the track. Still side by side into turn 2. Will they take the Joker on the first lap? No, everyone to the normal course. So it's Livingood, Sherman, and Fleming.
You see cars getting a little bit sideways going over that jump, and got to be a little bit cautious about the curves, seeing it really upset the handling of the car as Livingood rounds the first lap here.
So Fleming wide on Dudley Smith. Smith to the 3rd spot. Who will take to the Joker? It's going to be Livingood and Sherman in 1 and 15. Look at this Joker. It's really unique as they go onto the beach and fly up onto the track. As Livingood's all over the track, so is Sherman, battling for the lead. Sherman on the outside. Can he take the fight to Livingood? He does! What a pass from Keith Sherman.
Yeah, Livingood trying to play it conservative, but he's going to bring the fight back. Maybe.
As Sherman was off the track, we're on lap number 3 here, as this is a wonderful spectator camera from our commentary box, as we can follow the action, and you can see how we follow the action here, as rounding the final corner to begin the final lap, it's Keith Sherman who leads. Livingood is in 2nd. Fleming has not taken his Joker yet in car number 84. So we're just going to see as Sherman runs it wide. Livingood tried to take the fight to him on the inside. Side by side for a moment they were, as Livingood needs this bonus point to try and help him in the championship, as Fleming to the Joker.
Yeah, Livingood running out of time. Not sure, as there's going to be trouble on the merge.
As Fleming and Livingood side by side. Fleming, he's over! And the chance to get to the final is done for the 84 in the heat, as Sherman wins. Livingood with a terrifying moment there for a second. He's in 2nd, Dudley Smith is in 3rd, and Luke Fleming, what a charge to try and take it to Livingood.
Yeah, Livingood playing a little bit too conservatively throughout that heat race, and I don't know, it could have ended up really badly for him.
So we're going to take a look at what Fleming had a genius idea to take the Joker on the final lap. As he's rounding turn 2 on our replay here, he takes it to the Joker, and you have to go down onto the beach and jump back onto the track as he flies and lands on the driver's side of Livingood's Mitsubishi, clips the curb, and it tosses him over. As he tries to get back going again, he pins the throttle, spins the car, and has an accident with Dudley Smith.
And Dudley Smith with a quick reaction there, throwing it in reverse and getting it across the line. It doesn't really matter at that point, but tough break for Luke Fleming there.
As heat number 2 drivers are rounding the course at the moment. As I believe this is another 4-car heat, as I'm getting word from the paddock. I'm not sure if Wetz is in this heat, but Wetz is having another ignition failure on the Mitsubishi. I think he's running the newer Mitsubishi, so that, you know, that reliability you mentioned earlier, it might be biting with the Evo 9, and that's why Living Good is running his old one.
Yeah, definitely seeing things go downhill for Wetz here at the end of this season. No wonder Living Good's going for something that he knows.
As almost ready for the Heat 2 drivers to round the track here. As here we go. Heat 2 drivers leaving their pit stalls. It's going to be Nick Cars, Yao Paulo, Tristan Hagenstein, and let's see if there is, I believe Wetz is in this heat. So there will only be 3 cars in this heat, although I could be mistaken. As Yao Paulo in the Delicia Race Team Subaru, one of the Brazilians returning to the NASA Rallycross Challenge, Nick Cars, and Tristan Hagenstein, your privateer points leader. So a privateer Ford, a Works Ford, and a semi-Works Subaru, as it looks like they flew past the grid there for a moment. They're backing it up and getting ready to go. So picks for this heat.
No, Tristan Hagenstein has really been on fire this entire season. You can't count him out in any race that you put him in. So this race, I think, will go towards Tristan for sure.
As he's on pole, Wetz was supposed to be in second. Nick Cars third. Yao Paulo fourth. As this could be an interesting heat to see who transfers through, as Tristan's won a couple of heats this season. There's a beautiful camera near the grid, revving him up for heat number 2, and it's lights out, and away we go! Hagenstein jumped the start, but he let Cars by, and into corner number 1. Will there be a battle? It's Cars, Hagenstein, and Yao Paulo, so clean start. As Paulo passes Hagenstein, and he's battling back. As a bump nearly from Yao Paulo in car number 41 to Hagenstein, and around the final corner to end lap 1, contact between the 2 leaders! As this is... I've never seen that in a heat. Well, I did, but, well, let's not go into that detail. Anyway, Yao Paulo leads after the end of the first lap in car number 41, and Hagenstein has to play catch-up.
At Tristan Hagenstein, though, with good equipment under his feet there, seeing him get a lot of acceleration coming out of the corners, just good speed overall. He's in the transfer spot right now, just needs to play it cool and gap himself from the 35.
As Yao Paulo leads, a lap and a half left to go. As he takes it to the Joker, Hagenstein does not, nor does Cars. I'm going to see here if Hagenstein can pass Yao Paulo. No, nearly. As they're coming to the white flag for heat number 2. And Hagenstein digging hard in car number 27. White flag, side by side into corner number 1 they are.
And Tristan, with that speed I was talking about, just powers out of the last corner, gets it down the front straightaway, and makes a pass going into turn 1.
As he takes it to the Joker. As you see how much faster you are in the Joker, but you get a compromise over the jump. As that's a little bit to talk about before heat number 3, as Hagenstein wins the second heat, and Yao Paulo transfers through to his first final of his NASA Rallycross career. Albeit he might have been helped by the tangle between Cars and Hagenstein, as I believe that's not the first time they've tangled this season.
Yeah, but for Tristan, I think that's the best way that could have gone for him.
As heat number 3 rolling off, it's Dylan Smith, Josh Mertz, Cody Erdman, and Brandon Lambert. It's the same exact thing as Charlotte, except for Lambert being in this heat. So this will get interesting, as Lambert quickly getting to the grid in car number 5. rounding the final corner, the dirt, onto the pit lane, and he will scoot up to his first position, pole position for heat number 3. As looks like it'll be Dylan Smith, Erdman, and then Mertz, your grid for heat number 3. As this will be an interesting heat. What are your predictions?
One thing here is all 4 of these drivers really nail it on the starts. And down here in turn 1, we have a huge berm on the left-hand side of the track. It'll be interesting to see how everything funnels out. I think the Subarus have something going for them for sure, though, on the starts here. And I think it's going to come down to that.
Revving them up. It's lights out, and away we go. And an even start, like you just mentioned, as Dylan Smith lagged back. It's Erdman, Mertz, and Lambert. It's Lambert took to the lead, but Erdman in first, and Mertz is in fourth. Not a good start for the 81 to keep his streak up as he takes it to the Joker immediately. Let's see. The Joker doesn't really matter for the 81, but it's Erdman, Lambert, Smith, and Mertz at the end of lap 1.
All 4 drivers under a blanket right now.
As into corner number 1, Mertz trying to get by his teammate, who coincidentally is driving for the guy in front of him next season. Switching teams, Dylan Smith always wearing different fire suits. As Erdman into the wall! Lambert gets tagged and Mertz goes through the middle! As what were you mentioning about being lucky?
Yeah, we've seen drivers bite it over the jump into that corner. Surprising to see Erdman, though. Erdman really hasn't been the one struggling with that.
As now Mertz leads on lap number 3 here at Bent Twig. As Erdman and Lambert go to the Joker, and over the radio, Lambert, the second consecutive week he came together with Erdman, he is furious.
Yeah, this is definitely a rivalry that's about to heat up and explode here in the next couple of races. It'll be interesting to see, especially with Erdman being in contention for a championship.
As half a lap to go in heat number 3, Mertz and Dylan Smith are in the positions to transfer as Erdman all over the track trying to push hard. As around the final corner, who's going to stop him? 8 in a row for Mertz as he wins heat 3. Dylan Smith in second, and Erdman for the 3rd consecutive week has to settle for the LCQ as Lambert not happy with the 82. As we're going to take a look at the start and the incident between Erdman and Lambert. As from the helicopter, on the grid, Lambert, Smith, Erdman, and Mertz, and they all hammered the gas at the same exact time. Beautiful start. As Lambert dives it in, he has pole, and it looks like Mertz just hit the curb and sent him wide, so that's why he got sent off. As Lambert lost the spot to Erdman when he took to the sand trap. As we're going to fast forward with the helicopter camera, we're going to fast forward to the incident between Erdman and Lambert. I believe it was on the second lap here. As it looks like Erdman got a wheel off. Looks like he had a wheel hop. Clipped Lambert, and Mertz is just like, well, I'm going to take that. And threading the needle, he did in car number 81.
I went slicing and dicing all the way from the back to the front. Can't get much better than that.
So the LCQ time here in Bent Twig. As rounding the second corner will be Brandon Lambert in car number 5. It'll be Erdman, Nick Cars, Luke Fleming, Dudley Smith, and technically Chris Wetz. But the ignition issue still bugging the Mitsubishi Evo 9. So it looks like for a second time this season, he will not be able to compete.
It'll be interesting to see with the 5 and the 82. They're not happy with each other at this point in the race. It'll be interesting to see, since both of these guys need to make it in to the final to prove themselves like they have time and time again. We might see a little contact, little sparks flaring up between those two drivers.
As on pole, Lambert, Erdman, Cars, and then Wetz, who is not there, so it's an empty grid spot. Luke Fleming and Dudley Smith will be on the back row of the grid. We're getting, looks like Fleming is switching. I'm not sure if that's in the rule book, but looked like a tactical decision by the MRT junior driver. It's a good decision by him to get behind the car that's not there in that gate. So it's going to be a brawl between Lambert and Erdman. So we'll see what happens. 3 laps, and you have to take the Joker once. So we're revving him up for the LCQ in Bent Twig, and it's lights out, and away we go. And off the line, Lambert and Erdman immediately leading as they go into corner number 1. Dudley Smith is in third, but contact between Erdman and Dudley Smith has sent him around as he's back in the pack immediately.
Yeah, tough break for him. That's not what Erdman needs if he wants to make it into this final and stay in the championship hunt.
As now, Lambert, Dudley Smith, Cars, Fleming, Erdman. Your running order as we have 2 laps to go. For Brandon Lambert in car number 5, your 2012 A champion. Dudley Smith is in second. And Nick Carr's off the road as he was battling for third with Luke Fleming, excuse me. That's the first time I've gotten them mixed up. As Lambert takes to the Joker in car number 5. Dudley Smith did not take to the Joker. Erdman takes to the Joker in car number 82, and it looks like Cars got stuck on the beach. White flag for Lambert. All he has to do is be consistent here. As Dylan Smith, Luke Fleming again, I got them confused again, is off the road. So he will lose the 3rd spot to Erdman in car... Smith didn't take the Joker. I'm not sure about that. We will see Lambert and tentatively Dudley Smith are through to the final. Erdman is in 3rd.
I think officials are going to throw the 50 to the back there for not taking that Joker.
Yeah, I'm hearing in my headset from race control, 50 to the back of the field for not taking to the Joker. So that will put Erdman through to the final, and that's what he needed, because if he didn't make it, he would be out of the championship. As we talked about that last week, if you miss a final, you can kiss your championship goodbye.
He got really lucky there. A couple drivers bit it hard into turn 1, sliding off into that gravel. That gravel, hard to get out of.
So here we go for the final. There's Lambert in car number 5. Rounding the final corner. Living Good in car number 1. Will his old Mitsubishi bring him luck? As he's pulling into the pit lane to get ready to grid. As Lambert on the outside pole in his Works Volkswagen for the Monster Volkswagen team. The pole position, Keith Sherman in his Works Ford. Private Ford of Tristan Hagenstein. Works Subaru of Josh Mertz. Works Volkswagen of Brandon Lambert. Pole position, back row, Dylan Livigood, Works Mitsubishi, Semi-Works, Delicia Race Team Subaru of Yao Paulo, then it's a Semi-Works Subaru of Dylan Smith, and then the other Works Subaru of Cody Erdman. What's going to happen in this 8-lap race? Predictions?
Looking right now, we have 2 of our 3 championship battlers in the second row. I know neither of those drivers like to start in the second row. Hard to make your way up through. So watch out down into turn 1 for sure, and it's going to be just a dogfight at the end of the race. Hard to say who will come out on top.
And as it's going to depend on who gets the hole shot. It's either pole position or the outside pole we've seen, because the 2 middle gates, you're squeezed and it does not end very well. So 8 laps for the drivers here at Bent Twig. Looks like a little bit longer on the start procedure than they normally have. So we're revving them up for round number 8 here at Bent Twig, and it's lights out and away we go. And off the line, Hagenstein and Lambert get the hole shot. Sherman to the inside of the track, and he turns Mertz. Mertz is around once again. So the championship contender is in 8th immediately on the start. So to the Joker on the first lap, who will take it? It looks like Erdman does in car number 82, followed by his teammate in car number 81. Lambert leads, exiting the Joker, contact with Sherman and Erdman, and at the end of the first lap, Lambert leads in car number 5.
Yeah, tough break for Dylan Smith there, too. He got shoved out into the gravel, and it took a long time for him to get out as Livingood gets it sideways down here into turn 1.
Contact with Erdman. Mertz trying to battle with his teammate to the Joker, and the teammates make contact again for the second time this season. Shades of Island Rally for the Subaru MRT drivers. End of lap 2, Lambert leads. He's pulling away with Hagenstein in second. Livingood is sitting up in third. Sherman 4th. Smith 5th. So this is getting good as Mertz is bowling Yao Paulo out of the way, you could say, as Sherman way off the track in car number 15.
Yeah, and Lambert really likes these tight tracks along with Tristan Hagenstein. No surprise to see them up front.
As we're ending lap number 3, Lambert leads from Hagenstein and Livingood, your podium currently, as it looks as though Erdman is in 8th, Yao Paulo 7th, as Sherman battling with Dylan Smith in car number 83. Sherman all over the track again, and it looks like contact between the Subaru and the Ford as Mertz goes through the middle. So ending lap 4, crossed flags, Lambert leads, Hagenstein and Livingood your podium. As battling still are Smith and Sherman. You can tell Smith's not happy with the contact he had. As coming to 3 laps to go, Yao Paulo is impaled on the wall, so he will be in 8th spot. Looks like he got told to get out of the way, and he is out of the way. As Dylan Smith is out as well in 7th spot, and 3 laps to go for Brandon Lambert.
Yeah, Livingood a little bit slow through that Joker. That's given a chance for Mertz to catch up. That's Tristan all over the road in front of him.
Pushing hard is Mertz in the 81. You know what happens when he gets taken out on the first lap. He becomes possessed, you could say. As Lambert and Hagenstein are pulling away, coming to 2 to go, and Mertz is off the road! Same thing happened to his teammate in the heat, and it's happened to him here. As Sherman gets by him for the 4th spot, as 2 laps to go in Bent Twig.
Now watching the lap times roll in here, Livingood just hit his fastest lap. Erdman on top of the board, a 24.9.
Mertz has a 25.0 as we are coming to the white flag here in Bent Twig as Brandon Lambert is your leader, followed by Hagenstein, followed by Livingood. Sherman's 4th, 5th is Mertz, 6th is Erdman, 7th is Dylan Smith, so it looks like he's gotten going again in car number 83. Only 7 cars remain. That's the gap between Lambert and Hagenstein. Hagenstein takes to the Joker, but I don't think it'll matter. As rounding the final corner, it's taken a while, but Brandon Lambert returns to the top step of the podium as he wins in Bent Twig, followed by Hagenstein with another 2nd place, Livingood on the final step, Sherman 4th, Mertz claws himself back to 5th, Erdman is 6th, and 7th will be Dylan Smith. As a dismal performance for the MRT squad, but Lambert doesn't care as he's burning it down, and Livingood is celebrating for whatever reason in car number 1.
I think he's happy to see his friend Lambert win there. Good to see Lambert back up at the top. It's been a while for him, and things may be turning around. I know he's working out some bugs in that Polo.
As the podium ceremonies are set to begin here, as it looks like they are just getting the anthems ready to play. For Brandon Lambert and the Volkswagen World Rally Team, we'll pull up the points as the anthems begin to play. As podium ceremonies beginning for Lambert and the Volkswagen World Rally Team. As he wins, 2nd place is Tristan Hagenstein in the 27, as 3rd place is Dylan Livingood in car number 1. 4th place, Keith Sherman in car number 15, although a protest was lodged by the MRT team, although I don't believe it has gone through. 5th place is Mertz, 6th is Erdman, 7th place is Dylan Smith, and 8th place is Yao Paulo. Your best of the rest drivers, Luke Fleming 9th, 10th Nick Cars, 11th Chris Wetz, and Dudley Smith is 12th because he was thrown to the back. As Dylan Livingood leads by 2 points over Mertz in car number 81, and Erdman is 6 points behind Mertz. Livingood, excuse me. 124, 122, and 118, and only the top 6 are mathematically eligible, I believe, as 42 points are left on offer for the 2013 C season. The Manufacturers' Championship, Mitsubishi has opened up their lead 138 to Subaru's 132, as the Works Championship is widening for MRT, 24 points over Revolution Racing. 39 are on offer, or 39 is the most you can get in one race, so if they get more than 39 next week in St. Eustache, the championship is sealed one race in advance. as the German anthem plays for Volkswagen. The Semi-Works Championship does not matter. Privateers beginning to shift Tristan Hagenstein's way, 101 to Caleb Paul's 81 points, as the Nations Cup, the United States 135, Germany 131, and Canada 124. So the podium ceremonies finishing up here. The German anthem plays for Volkswagen. This is their third victory in the NASA Rallycross Challenge. They actually won here last season with Tanner Smith, if I remember correctly. So Living Good, final thoughts?
It's still anyone's race here in these last two races. We're going across Canada here to St. Eustache, which is Mertz and Erdman's best track, and then it's going to be a toss-up in Irwindale, of course, that none of these drivers have seen before. So it'll be interesting to see how everything plays out. Not like a broken record saying that, but we got ourselves a tight points battle, and whenever things are this close, you can't call it not interesting.
As this broadcast was brought to you by Java Shot Designs, if you need any painting done for any of your racing interests, you can contact Adam Sweet at his page at facebook.com/JavaShotDesigns or at his website, javashotdesigns.com. As Dylan mentioned, we are racing at St. Eustache next week, and the points leader isn't very good there, and the second and third place drivers are the only two to ever win there. So you'll have to tune in next Monday for round number 9 of the 2013 C NASA Rallycross Challenge season from the other Canadian round in St. Eustache. But I believe that's all we have time for the Bent Twig Rallycross Grand Prix. For Dylan Livingood, I'm Josh Mertz. Thank you for watching, and so long, everyone.